Hello, I'm Camori.
I'm John Conway.
And I'm Neal Brewer.
And we are here for Don't Hassle Me, I'm Local, street level music discussion podcast.
In this podcast, we're going to dive into the deep, dark world of music from the perspective of fans, critics, and snobby metal nerds that sometimes write music.
Damn straight. And on today's episode, we will be discussing, should we stop trying to predict who the next Metallica will be?
Dillinger Escape Plan has recently called it quits. Is it no money, or does touring life just suck?
And we'll also touch on Crobot's 3 new singles off their forthcoming album, Welcome to Fat City.
And to wrap things up, we will be discussing the fact that The Sword is going to be releasing an acoustic album featuring all the songs off of their High Country album. And we will be wrapping up this episode with...
Name that metal subgenre.
That's right.
We'll see if I can stump Corey and Neal on some subgenres.
We shall see. Alright, so let's get into the nitty gritty here. Guys, should we stop trying to predict who the next Metallica will be? And also, Metallica must have known we were doing this fucking episode or something, because Metallica just released a new song coming from their forthcoming album, which will be released, I think, in November. The song Hardwired. We'll also be talking about that as well. So, guys.
Isn't it Hardwired... ... to self-destruct?
Is it really? On Spotify it just says Hardwired and has some really shitty artwork.
Might be the name of the album then.
It must
it's
be.
A double album.
Oh god, please don't. No. They've already done that. We need to no. Okay, anyway.
Alright, so to preface this a little bit, I feel like every metal band or every rock band that seems like they're catching some steam, somebody always tries to peg them as the next Metallica. Mm-hmm. Trivium at one point was the next Metallica. Avenged Sevenfold, I think, has actually quoted Metallica handing them off the baton. I've heard Mastodon. I've heard.
So that's why they stole that all the ideas for that last album. They're like, oh, Metallica gave us permission.
Lars said, "Here you go, man. Good luck on Hail to the King." All right, the Black Album master tracks. Here we go. No, but I absolutely think that we gotta stop predicting. We need to let them go, man. We need to let Metallica just kind of like fade off into the sunset, and these bands need to not try to be the next Metallica, and people got to stop comparing them to them, because it's not going to happen again.
No, I would agree.
If it's the next Metallica, then it's not the next anything, because then it's just Metallica again. There's no point in that.
Whoa, fortune cookie shit. Boom.
Because they exploded on the scene in the 80s. Nobody else was like them before. I mean, except for the bands that were around them doing it at the time, but they were the ones that, caught fire, they got big, and it's not like they were being compared to really the next anybody else. So
I think that usually when people say that kind of thing, there's two different people. You'll have the people that are trying to compare these bands from a sonic standpoint of saying, oh, these guys are going to be the next Metallica because they're taking the baton, like you said, Avenged Sevenfold. And then you have the other people that are just using like what Metallica has done from a monetary standpoint and saying, oh, these guys are going to be the next big thing, like Metallica was in the 80s. But the thing is, like, shouldn't we have already looked past that? Like, I mean, I get it, Metallica's fucking huge, but haven't there been successful bands after them?
Yeah.
I'd
be pretty pissed if I was some successful bands in between there being like, hey,
wait a minute, what about us?
We did it too.
I think, like Neal said, I think that we also, we need to stop trying to predict who's going to be the next Metallica, because at the end of the day, that means we're just going backwards, not forwards.
Yeah, you're robbing them of their uniqueness. But I mean, I guess, okay, so it could be, sonically they sound like Metallica. They sound like
like Volbeat or something.
Yeah, and then you've got, okay, so you said monetarily they're Metallica. They own more than most countries in the world. And then maybe we could look at it from that taking the genre and moving it forward to a band that will sustain 30 years of success.
Yeah, and I do think there have been very few bands that have done that between the early 2000s to now. I mean, there's really only been one band who's been able to do that.
Wait, we're not comparing bands.
No,
we're answering the question.
I could understand if you want to compare someone as being the next Metallica on a monetary standpoint, because they're so big. They still have far more revenue than any band in that genre. You talk about, like in your last episode, Slayer and things like that, but Slayer doesn't have anything remotely close to the money that Metallica has. So comparing on a monetary level, that makes sense, because that can have absolutely nothing to do with the genre, what they sound like, who they are. That makes sense. So comparing people, like, who's going to be the next that's at that level, but we definitely don't need another Metallica. But so comparing as far as money is concerned, that makes sense. But comparing as far as the sound and the music goes, yeah, we don't need that.
But even comparing money, money-wise, like what these bands can bring in, I mean, it's going to be difficult to kind of compare to Metallica because, I mean, and this will be something we talk about when we get into discussing Dillinger Escape Plan in the next segment. The way that you make money in the music industry is so fucking different.
Oh, it's a
from
different
how
game.
It used to be, and it's almost impossible for anyone to become the next Metallica. I mean, I think of bands that are that were kind of present in our generation. I think Slipknot's really the biggest one, but even they're not going to be able to reach the kind of stratosphere type of success that Metallica has had.
I feel like they're still banking on solid merch sales.
Of course.
Whereas
Metallica or Slipknot?
Slipknot.
Yeah, well, Slipknot can put their shit up in fucking Hot Topic and all these other places, and then Metallica can too.
Metallica is H&M. They got a badass Damage Inc. shirt.
Yeah,
Really?
$17.
I think they even have a Kill 'Em All as well.
Yeah, they
Really?
got Guns N' Roses, Metallica.
Well, and Metallica also is going to be in a place like a Walmart or a Target.
I have a Target shirt. Not gonna lie.
Yeah.
I gotta
So I mean, a
$4.
band like Slipknot, I mean, maybe they'll get to that point, but I don't really know.
Not until there's a new evolution of how the whole system works, and there's a new way to gain money, and there's a new source of revenue that changes. So until there's a new evolution in the system of music, you're not going to have that.
Yeah.
Because we were talking about this exact thing about how much money Metallica has, and Black Album is certified 16 times platinum, and I'm sure that helps.
Yeah, so they're still making money.
Yeah,
off of
show me
that.
somebody that's got that.
Hell, even fucking Jason Newstet's probably making money off of that.
He's
thing.
admitting it. Yeah, he's doing his acoustic jams. But all right. So we were saying that Neal, I was going to kind of jump in there and say something to you where you said, you were kind of proving your point that we need to stop doing this, stop predicting next Metallica, and stop comparing people because their new song. Can you compare that to anybody? I mean, it's kind of like. Like, does anybody want to be compared to the new Metallica after this one?
I don't.
I think after they released Lulu, nobody wanted to.
Well, but
and again, that was a different thing. I get it, but even like Death Magnetic, I mean, that album's okay. And honestly, this song sounded like it came off of that album. It sounded exactly like those other songs,
except for the fact that it makes your ears want to bleed.
Yeah, the fucking snare on that's like the snare didn't sound as bad as like Saint Anger. And I think it's probably a little more annoying on Death Magnetic, but it was so fucking loud.
Like, hear the guitar.
It's just aggressive.
I can't hear bass.
So,
fucking
all right.
Poor Robert Trujillo is just like, I'm here, guys.
They gave him $1 million just to join the band.
They loaned him $1 million to join the band.
Well, listen to the snare while I sling my ponytails around. Don't worry, guys.
So we're lucky enough to have Neal's got a more trained ear than Corey and I, and actually works in sound or recording and sound engineering and stuff like that. So let me ask you, Neal. We talked about how rich Metallica is. Are people just scared to mix that, or are they not letting anybody get near it? Or are they paying somebody to be like, we want it to sound like this? Don't tell us it's like. I mean,
yes,
it's a culmination of all those things. I can guarantee you, because they do have so much money and so much rapport, at least in their own minds. I mean, they do. They're Metallica. They're huge, but. They're going to want things to sound the way they want it to sound. So I'm sure even if you have the best engineer ever working on it and they make a mix that they just think is absolutely killer, when the guys come into the room and their management comes into the room, they're going to want to make suggestions that they think are going to make it what it needs to be for it to be Metallica and what they predicted the fans are going to want. And, I'm sure those super loud drums with tons of attack, I'm sure Lars comes in there and he wants it like that, because that kick drum on the new song, sounds like a hammer hitting a piece of metal, and the snare's got tons of attack right around 5K. I mean, it's just brutal. There's no way a sound engineer was mixing that and thought that was a great idea.
that's what I'm saying. Oh, I think, and to tie it back to the reason I ask is because in Some Kind of Monster, they're pushing them to put out that Saint Anger album. Like, the head of the record label comes in and he's like, guys, when can we have you can just tell he's just eager to get it out. And they're playing him tracks and he's just like, into it. You know, the first time anybody's heard these St. Anger tracks, there's no way in hell that guy, you know, he's listening to this going, this is shit, but you know what? This is...
I gotta milk it for the camera, man.
Well, he just knows that Metallica's going to put out an album and everybody's going to go buy it.
It's going to sell no matter
It's
what.
going to sell. Whether people love it, hate it, just like
People may talk
Facebook is
shit.
blown up, all the metal blogs, everything is just because it's new Metallica.
Yep.
So...
And I will say too, like, I don't know, the whole song itself just gives off kind of a lazy vibe. Like,
there's so fast.
There's nothing memorable about the thing at all. There's no memorable solos, riffs, or anything. And the lyrics, oh my god!
All
I just
right.
pulled the lyrics
the
up here.
Cliche, we're fucked. Shit.
We're so fucked, shit out of luck, hardwired to self-destruct. Okay, but that's not even the best part. When it gets to once upon a planet burning, once upon a flame, once upon a fear returning, all in vain. I mean, like, this is like,
all right,
so
hold
fucking...
on.
You stayed up all night thinking
I
about
like that's at least somewhat poetic.
That
All right.
shit is fucking cheesy.
Sure, no,
look,
that is
look,
fucking poetry compared to "we're so fucked, shit out of luck."
Okay, look. First things first, we have to agree that James Hetfield, first of all, has never been the best lyricist ever.
Since he's sober, I would agree with that statement.
Okay. Well, I don't know.
Absolutely.
I think even some of the song, like, I think some of the shit, even on a song like, you know, I get it, it's fucking huge, but Enter Sandman, like, some of the shit on there is just, it's fucking cheesy. It is. Now, like a song like One, that right there, I'm like, oh wow, this dude actually pushed himself lyrically to write something that was insightful and took you into a different place than you would expect. But this shit sounds like something that you would hear out of like a mediocre thrash band that's just starting out now.
Plot twist. That's what Metallica is.
Well, I guess, yeah. I guess right now they are kind of. But again, you know, I come to expect a little more, you know, from Metallica with the kind of rapport they have, like you said. You know, and it just, the whole song is just lazy. I know there are a lot of people out there that listen to it going, oh yeah, they're fucking back. No, they're not. They sound exactly like they sounded on Death Magnetic. If you like that shit, cool. But at the end of the day, it's lazy in my opinion.
I think one of my big problems with it is I think the song could sound stronger. I think the problem is they're trying to make it sound so modern, and it sounds so much like what a lot of other bands in, you know, the more radio metal or the hard rock type stuff, the way they do it. It's super compressed, super slammed, it's super loud and in your face, and their music doesn't lend itself to that. So if you have that thrashy music, it should be a little more raw, and I think the song would sound leaps and bounds better than it does if they really backed off of that and gave it more of a raw vibe. I think that's part of the problem, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, you do get serious ear fatigue when you listen to that thing. I listened to it 3 times back to back with headphones on, and it hurt my ears after.
Yeah,
I wish they would like take that. I feel like the vocals they keep raw, and everything else is compressed.
Yeah.
Like I feel like ever
I
since the
don't-
Saint Anger, I feel like it's got
It's
a
like-
really.
I don't
his
know.
vocals, because you know, since he like blew out his voice box like touring on the Black Album, and I mean even Load Reload and like S&M, he still had that kind of bite to it, but.
Well, he wasn't singing properly, and then he went and learned how to sing
Yeah,
properly, and
and
then it made it so he never wanted to push.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like they could. I don't know. So, last thing before we move on, that solo though.
No wah.
What's up? And I think we should also preface this with the fact that all 3 of us here do like Metallica.
I love Metallica.
A lot. You know, Metallica is especially, you know, fucking Ride the Lightning, and my favorite is Master of Puppets personally, but I mean, a lot of the early shit they did, like, you can't fucking touch it, man. It's fucking awesome.
And I think that's the whole thing of what we're coming down to is like Metallica did what they did, and you know everybody talks about in their prime, and they caught fire, and they went bigger than any metal band ever has, and you know people have their favorite parts of Metallica, and we're just those guys. We got our favorite parts, and I don't think that they're going to put out anything ever again that we're going to.
I would prefer, though, instead of them like going back and trying to recapture that sound, they tried doing something different then.
They did. You mentioned it earlier.
Well, no. That was a one-off shoot.
Yeah, because it was such a flop. That's why.
But again, if you listen to that album, like musically,
no,
it sounds like this shit.
Okay.
It does. It doesn't sound like they were trying to do anything different musically. So again, these guys might not be able to do anything different, but I don't know. I
I don't think they need to do anything different. In fact,
Yeah.
I don't think they need to put out any more albums. I mean, there's no point. They're a career band. They could tour for as long as they want to and still make money. They're making money off the albums they have. They don't have to do this anymore. They have what they need. Instead of tarnishing their name, just stick with what's there and tour it.
I don't know. They might need to make all that money back from that fucking last DVD or the live, the live thing they put out. What was it? Through the Never. Yeah.
Hey, that's what I'm saying. It
wasn't
it's
bad.
A good live show.
The live parts were fine. But I'm sure they're still hurting from the loss on that.
I still think when your album that's 25 years old can still outsell your arch nemesis and Megadeth. That just makes my day. that headline, Black Album outsells Super Collider. It's just the funniest thing I ever heard. All right, so next topic we're going to talk about. A couple weeks ago, Corey, would you like to come up with the genre for Dillinger Escape Plan?
Progressive math metal.
Okay, all right. So the progressive math metal band Dillinger Escape Plan it's decided that they said that this last album will be their last cycle. So honestly, I kind of appreciate what Dillinger Escape Plan has done musically and just in the metal scene. Like if you see, I mean, their live shows are absolutely incredible. Not too heartbroken. It sucks that a good band is going to stop putting out music, especially when so many people like it. But for me personally, not a huge, it's not hurting my heart too much. But it did get me thinking about what their statement said as to why they were quitting. And it seems like the same things seem to pop up, which is sad. So those things that are no money, there's no money in it anymore. And that they're in their 30s talking about how much touring sucks.
Well, they're in their 30s talking about how much touring sucks and how much they have to sacrifice going on the road, and they come back and got nothing. And you hear it from pretty much every working musician out there right now, especially in this genre.
And at a level like that, that's not at a big level. You're playing medium to, the bigger small size clubs. So, I mean, you're not making a tremendous amount of money.
Well, it's sad, though, because for their sound and for their genre, they were able to accomplish a lot, and they were able to bring in a huge fan base of people that I never thought there would be as many people that go out to those fucking shows as there are. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm not a fan of Dillinger Escape Plan. I respect what they fucking do because I couldn't fucking do it, but I mean, again, they're a relatively well-known band in the genre, and they've done a lot musically and live-wise. So, I mean, it doesn't make any sense to me why they shouldn't be able to live comfortably off of, the shows they've done and the albums they've put out. Especially that last album. That last album did pretty well.
I was actually going to come back and say was it One of Us is the Killer?
Yeah, I think that was the last one. Yeah.
That title, I played it for you. It reminded me of some CKY shit.
Absolutely.
I liked it, man. That slow one that they did.
That album,
that's what I could kind of.
I think that album's probably the best thing they've released in a while. And it's a little more tame, and I guess that's why I could enjoy it more.
Right.
Because the other shit is just at times it sounds like noise.
Have you guys ever seen a clip of their show? Or
the one where he's running on their fucking heads. There was a show they did in I think it was early 2000s. And fucking Greg, he just runs off the stage and is stomping on people's heads. I mean, they do crazy shit.
I would have to say that they're probably the one band that puts everything they've got into every show. They're jumping off of balconies,
and they don't have a whole lot of production either. On their stage, it's just them losing their shit.
And they just bleed all over the place because they're hurt. They all got busted up eyes and stuff. So I guess what I'm trying to bring us back to is you're going out there every night and killing yourself. And then, Neal, I'm sure you've seen bigger checks that people get at Amos's from bands that aren't anywhere near as good or put as much effort in. They're probably not making anything.
On the last tour cycle, I did a show with Dillinger. I can't remember if I did monitors for them, if they brought a guy, but they come through on their last album cycle probably 3 years ago, something like that. And I don't think it was a tremendous amount. It's under 10, and it sounds big, but then when you factor in the fact that you have to pay for a tour bus, which is about $1,000 a day, then you have to pay for engineer, and then you have to pay for your techs, and then you have to pay your management, and you have to pay your merch guy, and then even though you make money, openers, and then even though you make money off of merch, you still have to pay 15% of all those merch sales back to the venue or the promoter. So I mean, there's so many associated costs. So even if a band gets $8,000 that night, that sounds like a large sum of money at face value, but once you start paying everybody, it goes away really quickly. So I mean, there's only so much left. So when you figure that these guys are getting paid, $200 a night,
and they're probably not going home to a one-bedroom apartment by themselves.
No,
they probably got family members
they got a wife and kid at home.
So it might seem like if you're a one-man band living by yourself, $200 a night gigging. I believe that is close to the Neal Brewer price.
Do anything for $200 a night.
So
you heard it here first.
That's not
folks.
that bad. But then,
hit Neal up.
So once everybody's gotten a piece of the pie, there's not much left, I guess. So it's sad. Like I said, a well-respected band that lays it all out.
I just wonder what you have to do at this point to change that mentality. Otherwise, or change the way that the business works. Otherwise, we're just gonna continue to lose musicians, and we're just gonna have an entire generational gap of not having any music that's been able to last longer than a couple of years.
Yeah. But that goes back to what I said earlier about if we don't have an evolution in the way the music business works, or at least the way touring works, things are going to be difficult like that, because you're gonna have a separation. You're going to have the guys at the bottom that are willing to do things for next to nothing just to get their name out there, and then you're going to have the guys at the top that make a ton of money, and it's really easy because they're a career band. They've already done all the hard work, and they're just making money just by going and playing shows. It's everybody in the middle that's going to be screwed because there's going to be no way to survive.
It's kind of like our economy right now.
Yeah. And then the bigger bands are eventually going to fade away.
Yeah, they're going to retire.
So then,
but then what do we
we're
have?
just going to get subpar, mediocre bands that ascend to that role of career band, even though they're not any good. Or what I was just thinking about are with the internet and YouTube and stuff, you might have people that are making, these guys, the Rob Scallion guys that are doing ukulele covers and stuff. No, they're just making money.
Oh, just doing covers and
just doing funny stuff, and there could be an original outlet for that. A band that's doing something like that that's getting, and YouTube's paying their bills, and then it could be like, hey, why don't y'all go on tour? And they're going to be like, fuck that.
Well,
why would I go on tour?
There are a lot of bands right now that are doing shit just on an online level, that are doing shit on YouTube, and they're making plenty of fucking money doing it. I mean, there's a band, I think they're from Sweden. They're called Dirty Loops. They're a pop band, but it's a three-piece. It's a drummer, a singer, keyboardist,
last year,
and a bassist. And they're fucking sick.
Really?
They are really good. Singer sounds like fucking Stevie Wonder. Bassist looks like an emo kid, but he plays some of the craziest shit you would ever hear on bass.
They're basically like a crazy jazz fusion.
Yeah, they're like a jazz fusion pop band. But a band like that, they've played a couple of shows. I think they did play at NAMM, right?
Yeah, they don't play a ton of shows. They just come in and do a few select small amphitheater or really big rooms, similar to Live Nation's Fillmore's or something of that sort. And that's all they do, and they make a killing. So I mean, doing the online things really gives you a vehicle to find a way to hold out until you can get bigger shows where you make more money instead of just touring your ass off until you die.
Well, so then I guess the biggest question is that the future then of music performance? Because I mean, obviously in our area, Charlotte, we've got a lot of venues closing right now. I mean, Amos's is closing its doors next March. And, the local people are losing the ability to play, and, even the national people, they're only going to be able to deal with Live Nation if they don't have any dealings with Live Nation. They can't play in these areas. So is that going to be the future then, because since all these places are closing their doors?
It could very well be, because, we've lost all the other venues, and once Amos is gone, all that's left is Neighborhood and Visual Light, and Visual Light just got bought by the hospital. I don't know when it will close, but that all of that's going to be torn down,
and that's
made into parking decks.
And that's assuming Milestones, they're on the way out too.
But see, Neighborhood,
save the Milestone.
Neighborhood theater, Live Nation does a lot of productions in that room, so
Yeah.
that's still technically feeding the Live Nation monster. So I mean, that's could very well
is
be all
Live
that's
Nation
left.
gonna move into the record label, or label's gonna disappear, and you're gonna get onto a venue
I don't
chain?
know.
You know, like part of
If
you only
you-
tour Live Nation venues.
If you do, it would be maybe because you're part of a management group that then has the inside loop to that. But I mean, that's a very real possibility, I think.
No, I mean, then you have to think. Then these guys are literally pushing it to where they have a monopoly and a chokehold on the industry.
Of course.
How the fuck is that legal then? You know, how is it that they're able to get away with that kind of
Yeah,
shit?
but I
Just
mean,
do that?
Duke Energy does that. Time Warner Cable does that. It's
How
the
did they
exact same
snuff out
thing.
Ticketmaster for doing this. Like
They own
Ticketmaster did it.
Ticketmaster.
Oh, is it really?
They bought Ticketmaster.
Yeah.
So Live Nation was willing to lose money on shows,
Just
they'll
to
buy
feed
shows
that.
just
Wow.
to keep Ticketmaster going.
Jeez.
So they'll
You have them
overpay
to
for a
thank
show.
for all the fees. Thanks.
So you might have a bill that costs $10,000, and Live Nation will pay $18,000 for that show. That's not worth $18,000 just to keep the Ticketmaster rolling, because in the end, that's what's making all their money anyway.
Wow.
Craziness, absolute craziness. So yeah, with that said, let's move on to our next segment, which is Crobot. Crobot just released 3 new songs off of their up-and-coming
Crobot.
album. Welcome to Fat City.
Now we all love some Crobot.
Oh, we do. Crobot's the shit, man.
That last album's badass.
It is. So, fellas,
Grooves so hard.
I'll start off with you, Neal. What's your takeaway with these 3 songs? Which the 3 songs are Not For Sale, The Plague of the Mammoths, and Welcome to Fat City. So the title track.
Yeah. Well, I have pros and cons. I really like the first album, and they actually used a producer and engineer that's one of my favorites. It's a guy named Machine. He's done many Clutch records that are my favorites, like Blast Tyrant and Earth Rocker, and their new one, Psychic Warfare. He did Sacrament by Lamb of God. He did Ashes of the Way. He's done a lot of really, really great albums. I love his work, and he really helped knock that Crobot out of the park. He also did this new album that they have coming out, and while I really like 2 of those 3 new singles, I don't particularly love the sound of the album at all. It's got some really weird sounds to me. It kind of sounds out of phase on some of the stuff. I think they're trying to go for that 70s psychedelic thing, which is cool, but I think it kind of takes away from some of their energy when you compare it to their last album. It's a little confusing to me why they would go in that direction. But that being said, the Welcome to Fat City and Plague of the Mammoths, I think both of those songs are killer. They have a ton of energy. They're really funky. They're fun songs. I didn't like
Not For Sale.
Yeah, I didn't like Not For Sale that much. The vocals were just kind of...
I like the music video for that one. I don't know if you got to watch that.
Is that the one with the dads?
Well, the dads, they had the dads one
Yeah.
because people were misunderstanding the lyrics, whereas who paid your debt to be here? People thought it said who paid your dad to be here. So the video is just a bunch of dads throwing down and rocking out around them while they're playing. And then, so it's like, who paid your dad to be here? My son is not for sale, people thought they said, but it's my soul is not for sale.
That's not the one you sent me. It was like a Looney Tunes.
Oh yeah, well I hadn't seen the other one, so I'm sorry. I'll send you the other one.
I feel
so you
so
can
much.
watch it.
I'm glad I came prepared.
It's really
Damn
funny.
you
It's
for
really,
Damn
it's
you.
really funny. It's
Setting me
it's
up.
better than the song in my opinion. But no, I would agree. I honestly, it sounds like they got a bad capture or something with these songs. I think these songs would probably translate fine live, but listening to the recordings, the only one that I liked was Plague of Mammoths, as far as like the overall sound of it, because it was trying to go with that weird fuzzy, slight raw sound, and then Brandon has that weird effect on his voice that kind of melds all right with the music. But yeah, like Not For Sale and Welcome to Fat City, like honestly, the way that it was recorded and the way that it was either mastered or mixed, I don't know. It didn't sound right to me because I compared it to that other album and it sounds so flat compared to that other album. That other album's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
I think it's just mixed decisions, honestly. I mean, they recorded in a really badass room with a great engineer. It's got to just be the mixed decisions from what their management and their
just
label
does not
wants.
sound like it does not sound like they recorded in a badass room, and it really makes me sad because that first album it sounds incredible.
The only thing that I can figure is because the first album sounded more polished, their look on stage is very reminiscent of 70s stuff. They wear the silky button ups and they have the bell bottoms and all that. And,
Got the dream catcher on the fucking mic stand.
Right,
kicking that thing.
I think they're trying to cater to their look with their sound, which is cool. I'm not extremely crazy about the way they sound, but they seem like really cool songs. I mean, I look forward to hearing the rest of the album, and I wonder if they'll make any changes. Like, I wonder if these singles are going to be the same as what they release on the album. I wonder if it'll be remixed or remastered, because I saw a lot of comments online when I was looking at them today about people saying very similar things to what we're saying right now. So I wonder if they'll take a step back and adjust or do anything before they put it out, or if they'll put it out like it is. So that should be interesting to see.
What are your thoughts, John?
So I listened to the title track first, then the Not For Sale, and then the Mammoths one.
Mm-hmm.
And the Welcome to Fat City, I felt like was very reminiscent of the first one. But I did notice some sort of kind of effect on everything.
Which first one you mean?
The Welcome to Fat City was the
Sound
the first album.
Sounds like the first album.
Yeah, like just stylistically, like, okay, here it is. There's the grooves. There's the syncopated parts. There's
He uses those same guitar effects.
Yeah,
where they sweep. And
the drums. I mean, the song is predictable where they're going to choke the cymbals.
Well,
and
apparently
the guitar
they were
part,
playing that
that's
song
cool.
live last year, even.
Well, that's what I'm
So,
saying.
I mean,
It really
they've had it for a
and
while.
so I was like, okay, this is cool. Crobot. The second one was more of a lyric video. It was the Looney Tunes one, so I got to read it. I felt like the vocals. Sometimes I feel like when a band will. They feel like or a lyricist can take any phrase or any vocal and put it to a chorus and make it catchy or something. I kind of got the vibe of this one. Like, does that the debt's not for sale, or what is it? The
who paid your debt
yeah,
to be here?
I'm almost just kind of like, does that really need to be a chorus? And so I didn't dig that one too much. But the Mammoths one I thought was a step in the next direction with it. And while I was listening to all these, I was wondering, is Crobot going to keep doing what they do, and the tasty grooves, the syncopated, the bluesy scales that they do have that 70s kind of vibe, or did they maybe record these songs and go, this sounds too much like something supernatural. I've always wanted to try this effect. Let's kind of put that spacey thing on it, just to show that it's something different, They could be like, this sounds too much, like maybe people are going to think that these are B-sides from it. Let's try this effect, and maybe...
And I didn't even think about that.
Maybe
it's a separation tactic. I honestly had not even thought about that.
I felt like, while I did like Plague of the Mammoths, I felt like even that one, like, compared to you mentioned B-sides, compared to the B-sides that they had on... Legend of the Spaceborne Killer. That's the first album, or something supernatural.
Yeah. Sorry, the first song.
Yeah, that's the first song. Something Supernatural's B-sides. I feel like the B-sides on that album are better than these three songs they've released. Like Full Moon House, fucking awesome. Tap Dancing on a Tightrope. And even awesome Back to Blackwood, it's like that one is kind of. It sounds almost exactly like Necromancer. Yeah. But it's still. I feel like those songs were stronger. Like they were more cohesive. They came together. They came together better than these three tracks, but it might be something too where I got to listen to it a little more to kind of get the vibe.
Here's another thing: like, we know what Crobot does; they do it well. Do these songs do that? And does it make you say, "Hell yeah, I'm listening to Crobot"? Like that first album did. You can play it and you're just sitting there like, all right, from the first track to the last one, you jam out to Crobot. So are we being a little too overcritical? Since we all tend to be in that progressive metal side that we, each band that comes out with something, we want it to be that next something that's never existed before. Maybe why we're a little too harsh on Metallica right now.
I don't know.
Do we want Crobot to progress, or do we just want to rock out to their?
Well, while I play and Neal plays progressive music and you play progressive music, we also play stoner-ish music. So I'm okay with them staying in their wheelhouse. I'm okay with them staying in their lane. And the thing is, I feel, and I'm going to have to listen to the whole album and listen to these songs in context, but I feel like I'm going to end up skipping these songs on the album. Whereas that first album, I never skip a single song on that album because it's so fucking good all the way through. Like, I love that album. Anytime I'm at the gym, I fucking play that thing. Like, it's awesome. So, I don't know. I'm going to have to wait and see. So far, my first impression is it's not as strong. And I don't know if I would them to go back to that sound and try to replicate what they did on that first album, or maybe go in another direction. I don't really know. I'm gonna have to listen to the rest of the album.
So it's something. It's not quite an exact replica. It's not like they're just pumping
No,
out
it doesn't
records.
sound like
Not
it.
quite,
No, it doesn't sound like it to me. But I mean, I don't know. They sound like a band that would almost be. It would be okay if they did that.
Yeah, it's with their style and their groove that they have. I mean,
I never get
I would expect
bored of
them to
listening to it.
Yeah, I'd expect them to do something of at least a similar vein.
Mm-hmm.
I only had a problem with the Not For Sale. The other two songs, the Plague of the Mammoths and
Welcome to Fat City.
Welcome to Fat City. Those had a ton of groove to them. They were fun songs. Other than just the sound, the mixing choices, those were really the only things that I had an issue with at all.
So I've got one more question. This one's more for Neal.
Mm-hmm.
Did you pre-order the Doo-Doo Brown vinyl?
I did not. I
I did not as well. I kind of passed. Like I think the whole point of me and Neal and Corey sometimes, I think.
Yeah, when I have the
some,
extra money.
We're into the colored vinyl, and I like it because it's pretty. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Like I like the big artwork, opening up the gatefold, pulling out a nice, colorful vinyl, and when I get fucking chartreuse puke yellow instead of emerald green, I'm gonna be upset.
God damn you, Opeth!
So, I'm sorry, tangent. I saw the cover and saw the Doo-Doo Brown, and it must be just like a joke thing because they're like, it just seems like something with their sense of humor, and I'm just like, you know what? I think
that's not a make or break thing for me. But I mean, I do prefer
it.
if I can get a colored vinyl, I would prefer. Like I have Lucifer's debut album that they put out, and it's fucking purple. It's beautiful. I fucking love that album, but. Yeah, I saw it too. I saw it too. I was like,
cover too.
What the fuck is this? Yeah, it's almost
just buying these awesome metal covers. Beautiful artwork.
They're
and
like
fucking, boars and terrible colors.
It might be some
shit
wizard level troll that they're playing on people right now. It's like, oh, watch this shit. Like these are really the demos, and this isn't the real artwork. And here's our shit brown vinyl.
When Avenged Sevenfold was releasing Hail to the King, they released the single, and it was like the king and the throne, and then everybody's like, this sucks, like this is awful, and then they scrapped it and they put out like an all black with the death bat, like half of it on there, like that ended up being the cover because there was like such an outrage to everybody freaking out. But I think it ended up just being like the the single cover.
Yeah.
And then what they did was they took it and they put like a dark tint to it, and it looked badass, but they'd already went with the other one, so I thought it was just.
All of our true metal listeners they tuned out right now as John started talking about fucking Avenged Sevenfold.
But we were just talking.
Avenged Sevenfold's popped up like 3 or 4 times in this episode already.
Oh god,
big fat phony!
You found me out.
All right, well let's move on to.
Should I go change my Avenged Sevenfold shirt that I'm wearing?
You should. You know what? When we play, when Camori plays with "If These Trees Could Talk," that's the shirt you should wear. Avenged Sevenfold. I'm gonna talk to the guitarist, see if we can interview him. You should wear that shirt and be like, "Hey, I'm a big fan."
I wear my Fury of a Dead Man shirt.
Yes.
Damn.
Fuck yeah. God, now I gotta up you guys by finding something even lamer.
Creed.
Oh shit. I'm gonna have to find a Creed shirt.
No, Neal's got a Nickelback shirt on.
Yeah. No problem.
No, I'm totally. If These Trees Could Talk, I doubt you're listening yet, but have one of those colored vinyls because I'm gonna buy one.
All right, so
now
let's move on to our next topic.
Stoner rock.
More stoner rock. Fucking The Sword. The Sword is about to release an acoustic album featuring the songs off of High Country. Are you guys excited for this album? And what are some of your favorite acoustic renditions of previously released songs?
I'm pumped because Neal wrote one of those songs.
I have proof too. I have dates on the song.
That is true. What song is it? What is it? It's a Temple something? I can't fucking remember
which one it is. I
know
know
we
it's
gotta
not,
look that shit up.
I know it's not
Sorry.
Mist and Shadow. It's,
No. It's the second song on that album.
I have it on my
There's
phone.
like that one person listening to this right now going, "It's this song! It's this song! You guys suck!"
They don't know what Neal's song is. So how
No.
does
Well, I was saying the Sword song, but we're looking it up now. This part will be edited out later, probably.
I know it's pretty fun. Empty Temples.
Empty Temples. Yeah, I knew it was
That's which
something
one.
Temples.
Yeah, that's which one it was.
Yeah, funny little story. Our band Terratorn, Neal and I's band Terratorn, you wrote a song. I had like thrown some fucking lyrics or vocals on it,
Yep.
and they were like, "Yeah, let's get this." And everyone else was like, "All right, fuck yeah, we're gonna turn this thing into a nice little ditty." And then the Sword released Empty Temples, and we're like, "What the fuck?"
Yep. I had recorded it just goofing off, and for full disclosure, I just ripped off Allman Brothers. That's all it
Apparently,
was.
they were doing the same
And,
exact thing at the same
Yeah,
time.
honestly, they must have been stoned listening to some Allman Brothers too when they came up with it, because it's almost the exact same thing. So
That album cycle, everybody was listening to fucking Allman Brothers.
It
We
must
did
be
that
it.
BT Bam Q&A.
I haven't-
All
I
he was
haven't heard
talking
it.
about was just
Really?
Allman Brothers, yeah, because they were, somebody was asking certain questions.
Well, to add insult to injury, this new acoustic album they're releasing, Low Country, it features a giant fucking vulture on the cover, and our mascot in Territory is a giant fucking condor / vulture. So
Wow.
that was another thing we were just like, wait a minute, what the fuck?
The Sword is territory.
The Sword is Territory. Like,
They've got my house bugged.
let's tap into his fucking hard drive. Oh, look at that artwork. Damn, that's
Put
just
some masking
awesome.
tape over your damn.
It looks like they got
Camera,
like
yeah.
I don't know who did the artwork, but it kind of looks like John Dyer's Baisley from fucking
No.
Baroness.
There's
Yeah.
not enough
No.
ugly girl titties.
Yeah. Or fruit.
Yeah.
It's not
not
a, it's,
nearly enough
it's
fruit.
not a titty vulture harpy creature.
I do appreciate that he doesn't draw super hot chicks. They're like real.
They're
kinda
natural
normal-
chicks
Yeah.
that you would
Renaissance
see.
chicks.
Yeah.
So
Renaissance
kudos
chicks
to
that you
you.
would see walking around
John
fucking
Paisley.
Noda or
The only
something.
thing John left out in those pictures is turkey legs.
But are you guys excited for this?
I am.
This, because they're also going to be touring with Opeth pretty soon, and it sounds like they might be playing some of these.
Which is a
acoustic
strange
versions.
matchup,
They're
I
gonna-
think.
And we're gonna go,
Absolutely.
and I gotta get my ticket.
Me too.
Also,
Keep
I didn't
forgetting.
want to tell you because I don't want you to. I want to wait till you buy your ticket. They're coming to the Fillmore Underground.
I
September
saw
12th.
that.
Yeah, I know. I already
It's
tried. I
just-
said,
it's
"Hey
just
Neil,
them.
can we get on that show? You know anybody
Oh.
out there?" He's like, "Fuck you! You want to play with the band that rips us off?"
He didn't mean that. He didn't mean it, the Sword.
We love you
It's a
guys.
joke.
Seriously,
Yeah.
this is a joke.
You
No,
have the best
but
riffs ever.
They're not. I guess it'll just be them and some support, maybe. So
Yeah,
we're
some
definitely
local support. I'm
definitely
sure.
going for the
Territory.
the Opeth.
Opeth is what I really
Yeah.
want to see. Anyway.
Okay, awesome. But I think I was a big early Sword fan, and you guys tend to be more of the keep up with them, like what they're doing now. But I'm definitely not against them doing an acoustic.
I think
thing.
it'll translate
And I-
beautifully, honestly.
you know how I feel about acoustic versions of songs. I think this will actually. Okay, hold on. For the record, I hate heavy songs that are turned into an acoustic song because they're usually just not creatively done. They're not well thought
the
out. It's
song I'm
usually
going to
just-
mention, FYI,
He's gonna
is going to
mention
be the one that
Opeth, Demon of the Fall.
That's
Yeah.
honestly my favorite
Well,
acoustic
it's-
rendition of the song.
Then I just have bad taste.
No, seriously, dude.
No.
Dude, that fucking version sounds killer, man.
I think the
Rising
sort
down
of
sweet death.
I think it'll
Everything is
ignore you. I think it will transfer really well.
I think it will too. The songs, going back to the ripping off the Allman Brothers, I mean, their whole album has that kind of vibe. I mean, even some of it sounds a little bit like Steely Dan.
And the way it was recorded, we talk about that style.
Yeah, the super
It's-
laid back.
It's not so heavy, so
Yeah.
they can take it and it'll really.
They used a bunch of ribbon
Yeah.
mics, so everything's nice and soft and warm. I think it'll be great for acoustic. And, a lot of people really talk shit about the High Country album, saying that they've gone soft or
They want to be
They-
clutch.
they've
pretty
lost
sure-
their balls.
I'm pretty sure I
love
wore my
that album.
earplugs the whole show.
Yeah.
when we were at, maybe
Oh,
at the
yeah,
end
it was
when they were
loud
playing
as
High Country.
shit,
So anybody
dude.
that says it's soft can
Yeah.
suck it.
Like Mist and Shadow sounded heavy as shit when we saw it live.
Yeah, all
Like,
those songs. It's just the way they record it. And I tried to explain that to somebody. I'm like, they use low wattage amps, they recorded with ribbon mics. It makes everything sound way less aggressive. I'm like, these songs are going to still rip your face off live.
That's the point when people start tuning you out because he's like talking about ribbon mics and
Yeah,
like
good.
yarn
Or
mics
that's gonna be
and
why people
other
are like-
fabric mics.
They're gonna be like, okay, so it's not just these.
oh my god.
Or they're gonna be like, good. It's not just these two assholes talking about shit that.
Oh, this guy has some substance here.
Finally.
Those other two assholes.
Finally.
We got someone here who's got brains other than these
But
two dicks.
I don't claim to know what the fuck I'm talking about. I just know what
It's okay. I vouch for you. So, all right, nylon or steel string?
For the sword stuff, It'd be awesome on nylon, but I'm sure they'll do steel string. I mean, it makes more sense. They can still get the attack out of it. They don't do a lot of finger picking. I mean, the whole album's riffs. I don't think it would work. I mean,
be finger picking.
I love the nylon stuff, but I don't think it would translate for the way they did the songs. But I think it'll be really good. I also bought the single that they did for Record Store Day, John the Revelator.
That one sounded
again,
cool, dude.
Going back to Allman Brothers.
Good.
Was that a full band?
Government Mule had done that song before, and it's kind of, like what Warren Haynes did. It's really cool. I loved it. But they did two versions. They did a full band version, and then they did just like an a cappella church house version. And I thought that was really cool. So they may be kind of doing that same thing with this acoustic album. So I'm excited to hear it. I think it could be really cool.
Right on.
I agree too. I think it's
I'm also eager to see if
good.
they recorded it in Nashville, because the whole second half of High Country was done in Nashville, and that's actually where the name of High Country comes from.
Is it from?
Because JD moved up there.
Yeah, JD moved there because he loves it so much, and they named the album High Country because of the actual mountains. Yep,
That's awesome.
Yeah, I think it'll be cool. Again, like you were saying, the songs are going to translate very well to that setting.
So, are you sticking with your favorite acoustic version of a song being Opeth, Even in the Fall?
It really is, honestly. If I'm being completely honest, I love that song, like heavy.
Have you heard it live, heavy?
Yeah, oh yeah, I've heard it heavy live, and I've also heard it acoustic live. And
John's gonna cry
it's
now.
just too. I don't know. It's just for me. I liked the laid back. I especially like the laid back delivery of the vocals, because I really like the lyrics in that song, and sometimes it's hard to tell what Michael's saying at times. But
it's so brutal.
It is brutal, but again, I liked seeing a different side of that song. That it's just so fucking brutal in your face.
The thing with Opeth is they give you the acoustic passage in the middle to appease you.
Again, it doesn't take away. For me, it doesn't take away.
It's like acoustic.
It's like a remake. It's like a remake of a movie. The original is still there. I can still go back and enjoy it. So it doesn't take away from my enjoyment of the original, because I still love the original, and I think the original is better overall. However, as far as acoustic renditions of songs, that's probably the best one that I've heard, especially live.
Okay.
Corey feels the same way about the new Ghostbusters.
Funny story, this is a little bit of a tangent. I was going to see a movie recently, and there was a guy standing behind me with his son, and his son wanted to go see the new Ghostbusters movie, and he's like, "Dad, I want to go see Ghostbusters." He's like, "Oh, no, we're not going to see that. That's for girls now." I'm just like, whoa, sexism out the ass right here. So, no, I have not seen the new Ghostbusters, and I don't really support it because I think it looked like a piece of shit. Not because it had women. But again, I could go and watch that movie and be like, okay, well, I can still go home and watch Bill Murray be Bill Murray, and I'll be okay.
Dude, continuing on, and then I'll share my favorite acoustic version of a song. What is with everybody getting their panties in a wad about the maybe possibility of Clue getting a remake? I've seen like 8,000 people.
This is now a movie podcast. Yes, I planted the seed. Neal, thank you, Neal.
I just don't get it. Like, yeah, it's good.
The internet is going to get their panties in a bunch over anything.
All right, there, you just answered.
They just don't want to destroy the first VHS that anybody ever
Like
bought.
recently, the new Spider-Man movie, Mary Jane is going to be played by, I believe, a mixed race girl who's like half black, half whatever. People are like,
better representation of the world.
It's like, shut the fuck up. This is the 21st century we live in. Everyone's going to look like me pretty soon. We're all going to be brown and beautiful.
You're light skinned. And Corey is light skinned, guys, so I don't know.
I got a little bit of the tan, a little bit.
Maybe your brother.
A little bit, yeah, no shit.
All right, so I thought of, real quick right before we started, my favorite acoustic rendition. The first one that came to my head was a band that I talk about a lot, Incubus. Not a metal band, but the reason why I'm talking about this is because when they did their acoustic version of this song, they totally changed it. And that song is A Certain Shade of Green. They took a heavy slap bass, effect-driven guitar song and turned it into basically elevator jazz music. Or like a lounge jazz
listen to this. I'm curious now. I haven't listened to it.
Have y'all never heard it?
No.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. So
I love Incubus. I'll check that out.
I remind you to check it out. It's the only thing that's the same is basically the lyrics, and the delivery is
different.
Totally different. It's just you wouldn't think it's the same song.
That was
so
really cool.
That's just my 2 cents, when I want to, what I look for in acoustic versions are, deconstructing it and making it a little different.
Yeah, it's always really cool when a band can reinvent something that's already been out there, that's already in their head. It's really cool. It shows a lot of musicianship for me.
You know what's funny is we're like 50 minutes into this, and John has already made it so that 2 or 3 times he has probably made the true metalheads listening right now cringe because he mentioned Avenged Sevenfold twice and now Incubus.
Just
all
for
in
the
the
record.
same episode.
Just for the record.
Incubus is good, so that is the big the
I'm pretty sure
factor.
that when I was trying to come up with an intro to this, I did put metal music, and Corey said, no, because we're not going to just talk about metal.
We're not. Eventually, we're going to talk about other shit, but
Like
still.
movies.
No, I'm just saying. So yeah, like movies. Yes. Movie podcast coming soon, folks.
All right, Neal.
So Neal, what is your acoustic rendition of the song?
Say Nickelback. Make me look good.
Probably a live acoustic version of Eleanor Rigby on one of the European Beatles vinyls that I have. I can't remember which one it is, but it's pretty awesome sounding. I really like that a lot.
Nice.
All right.
Right
I
on.
was not expecting that at all. I was expecting some stoner. Wow.
Always with the stoner slam.
Oh yeah, those.
If you guys need a stoner riff, Neal will pump some out. I'm jealous.
Alrighty then, so that wraps up our segments. We're going to take a quick break and we'll be coming back with NAMM, that metal subgenre. We'll be back in a minute, folks.
Hey guys, it's Corey Camori. Listen, if you want to check out more podcasts, more videos focusing on music, be sure to go onto our YouTube channel, The Breakdown Channel. You can also check out our website, thebreakdownchannel.com, and look for The Breakdown Channel on SoundCloud. That's where you'll be able to check out most of our podcasts. Thank you again, guys, for the support. We hope you guys will check out more of our content.
And we're back. And I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Conway over here. Mr. Conway, take it away.
All right, so what we're going to do is name that metal subgenre to try to prove my theory that metal subgenres are stupid and pointless. I'm going to see if anybody can actually, first of all, define the subgenre and perhaps give an example of a band. So based on our previous experience, I'm going to try to time Corey.
Yeah, since last time I did like a 20-minute rambling
so
run-on
we'll give you 30
sentence.
seconds. Okay, so this one is actually not necessarily metal, but
Okay.
we'll let you try. Okay, so this is called crust punk.
Oh, crust punk. Crust punk is it's punk music that I believe has elements of hardcore in it, and it's very, very fucking raw sounding. But there are also some bands out there that will mix that crust punk in with like a black metal kind of sound. For instance, there's a band in this area called Young and in the Way, and they're considered crust punk / like a little bit of like black metal or like crust metal or whatever. So yeah, it's an offshoot of like punk and hardcore kind of mixed together.
Okay, that was surprisingly pretty accurate. So
Yeah, I was like, damn it, why did I get that one? I know the answer.
I know the answer.
Neal, you're gonna know this one. All right, so give me a band. I'll give you a hint. You were talking about black metal. Give me what is the black metal band?
Black metal band? What are you talking about? Like an example of
give
crust
me-
punk?
yeah.
I just said Young and in the Way.
They're not on this website. Sorry.
Oh well, that's really honestly that's the only one that I know of.
Again, I'm gonna scaffold you. Do you know where the term black metal came from?
From Norway?
What band?
Oh, Mayhem?
Nope. You know?
I do not.
They were one of Metallica's big influences. You might see them wearing the shirts back in the early interviews.
Celtic Frost?
Nope. Well, yeah, they're actually
Celtic Frost.
on there. All right.
Celtic Frost is one of those.
I was talking about Venom.
Oh yeah.
I honestly did not.
Wait, they're
Yeah.
those that has like crust?
Yeah. Well, they're like the extreme metal form, like you were talking about.
Oh, okay, yeah. The mixture of
Yeah.
the two. Yeah, they definitely had that punk
But yeah,
influence.
Venom's first, or I don't know if it's the first one, they put out an album called Black Metal, and that's where then Mayhem.
Yeah, you're right.
All right, so Neal, I'm going to have a little bit of fun with this one.
I'm scared.
Let's see if I can find it. Okay. I'm going to give you a, get out of here. It's grindcore, but then what I'm going to give you is actually an offshoot of grindcore. So
Okay.
do you want to try to talk about grindcore and then and then get the next one, or do you just want me to give it to you?
Just give it to me.
All right, porno grind.
Porno grind. What the fuck? Porno grind. Wow. I don't even know where to start. I'm just going to make this up. Okay, porno grind. It has to either be really, really explicit, obnoxiously fast metal, or they're doing it just because it's so dirty and aggressive that there's no other way to explain it. I got nothing.
That was good. That was
The only
close.
thing that makes sense though is the too dirty to really make out what the hell's going on.
I think
with
I
it.
might have
It's
a
just-
band
So it's
that plays that kind of shit.
a subgenre of grindcore and death metal,
Okay.
which
I guess that
lyrically
makes sense.
deals with sexual themes, and it usually
Is cattle decapitation listed on there?
no, they're
Oh, okay.
but it does say that it's defined solely on the basis of its lyrical content and unique imagery, focus on pornographic content. Bands like Gut. And the artwork for porno grind bands is noted for its extreme and potentially offensive nature,
about
which would
fucking.
keep them out of most stores. Other notable bands of the genre include Cock and Ball Torture and Rompa-Promp.
What the hell?
But yeah,
Who sits down and says, you know what? Let's be porn grind. I don't get it.
But cattle decapitation is actually considered death grind. So,
Oh, okay.
So you were close.
I
Well,
was just thinking of that one music video where they're just mutilating dicks and balls and killing people.
feel like
and
that
everything.
band-
that should work in that.
that band like
context.
Dwarves, they always had crazy album covers. If you go to like any kind of record shop, and
I've never
Yeah.
heard of
Dwarves-
this band.
yeah, I think they're like a punk band.
So it's kind of
Yeah.
like it's like Cannibal Corpse. How it's just ridiculous.
Yeah, the
bullshit.
artwork is just like it says, it keeps it out of a lot of stores. So, but yeah,
Yeah, I imagine you can't put that on your shelf and have kids come into the store.
No
So,
Walmart.
I feel like
No
that. I
Walmart.
feel like that this game has actually turned into inspiration. So I've been actually working on my unblack
Your
and
unblack
metal
porno grindcore side project.
post grunge though.
Oh,
Perfect.
okay.
Yeah, I think that'll really.
I'll have
set it
to
off
come up
nicely.
with some interesting lyrical content here.
Yeah.
Since it's unblack though, do you have to wear protection?
No, you have to abstain from it altogether, so it's like contradictory.
He just thinks about it.
No, he just thinks about it, and he's
No,
like,
thoughts would be impure.
oh, see, you paint yourself into a corner there, my friend.
I didn't.
No!
Neal painted me in the corner. Damn it.
Oh, yeah, let's wrap this up with, like, what we're going to add this new segment in here, sure. This will be a segment called, what was it again?
How to piss off your sound guy, and you can share.
It's going to have a less rambly title eventually,
Yeah,
but this
we'll
is going to be our new segment.
come
How
back
to
to
piss
me, I'll
off a
have
sound
something.
guy? That'd be great.
What is one way that you can piss off a sound guy super easily?
Okay.
First thing that comes to your mind.
We'll refine this better for the next episode. but
Yes.
Right now, to
John's like, off the cuff, do it now!
maiden voyage on this. Well, the worst thing and the most common thing is hit your snare drum while it's being mic'd. That makes me want to punch you in the fucking face.
So there you have it.
You heard it here, folks. If you want to get punched right in the fucking face, all up in the face, hit your snare drum right when Neal is miking your shit
I
up.
think I've got a new thing I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go to local shows, not to support the music. I'm gonna hide with the stick behind the drummer, and when Neal gets up there, I'm gonna hit it and run away and watch the magic happen.
Watch that motherfucker get his shit punched in.
With
Oh,
With that
God.
being said,
Well, guys,
look forward to
we'll wrap it
episode
up
3.
now. That was another episode of Don't Hassle Me. I am Local Street Level Music Discussions. I have been Corey Camori.
I'm John Conway.
And I'm Neal Brewer.
We'll see you guys next time.